Coach, the team is coming off 2 losses this past weekend at home, 2 close losses to Dartmouth and Harvard.
Yes.
When a team has lost a few games in a row, is it a coach's tendency to change how the team prepares in the week leading up to the upcoming games?
You know, we've met a lot as a coaching staff, and leading this program, I've asked a lot of questions in terms of our preparation because I've been disappointed with our outcomes. And I think a lot of times when you're trying to build the mentality of a winning program, it just takes time. And I think there's building blocks that you have to set both mentally and physically throughout the season. And I think what you're seeing with our team right now, there's just some mental roadblocks set up for us. You know, we're talking about a team who hasn't been used to being up by 20 in the first half of games and playing with the lead that dominantly. And we're coming off of the past really 4-game stretch where we controlled the lead for a majority of the game. A little different at Cornell, but Columbia didn't lose the lead to the last couple seconds, and Cornell back and forth the entire time. And then, you know, Harvard and Dartmouth, where we're both leading a portion of that game, a major portion of that game until the last couple minutes. So there's obviously things we're trying to do this week to mentally prepare from a physical standpoint and a basketball standpoint. It's still coming down to similar issues with our defensive deficiencies and playing a little tentative and not getting the correct assignments. So as a coach, we just got to get on the floor and continue to compete in time and score situations and making those right decisions, and then trying to prepare and practice the best you can to simulate those same situations. It's hard to simulate being up 20 in practice. That's a tough one as a coach. But we've done some out-of-the-box things this week in terms of sports psychology and working on the mental aspects of the game. And I think when you think about this weekend, with Penn's mentality and Princeton's mentality, what Mike and Courtney have been able to build at those two places, the difference between a really great athlete and a good athlete is their mental state and their competitiveness. And so I just believe so much in this team. I think this team has bought into our program and our coaching staff, and I think what we're doing is right, and it's hard, but we're staying committed to the process of what we're trying to prepare, because we're playing really good basketball for long spurts of time, and then we're making poor decisions and getting tentative a little bit, you know, when we lose leads and when there's big runs in games. And that's a lot of credit to the teams that we're playing and the coaches that we're preparing against. But right now we're doing a little bit of everything. We're trying to think outside the box and at the same time prepare the same basketball-wise.
The schedule doesn't get much easier this weekend with Penn and Princeton, the 2 top teams right now in the Ivy League record-wise. What kind of adjustments will you make this time as opposed to the first time you played them earlier this year?
You know what, Penn, we really didn't come ready out of the gates, and with 2 players that we felt like we prepared for playing against, with Stepanovic and Ketty, and the strength that they have in the post, we really wilted under pressure to defending those 2 guys and really taking some ownership. And so that's going to again be a focus and something we work on. We didn't do a good job breaking pressure last time against Penn with their 2-2-1, and we really did a poor job zone offense in terms of our movement of the basketball and execution. So those are things we're going to prepare for Saturday night. Friday night, you've got a really tough Princeton team who likes to spread the floor and really capitalize in transition and do some great things both with interior and perimeter scoring threats. And so it's, again, our defensive assignments that are going to have to be really focused on, as well as being confident from an offensive standpoint. I think the last game against Princeton, there was moments of exchanging buckets, and you're not going to beat a really talented team unless you get some defensive stops, and that's our focus this week at practice, is really focusing on the defensive end of things while maintaining some offensive execution.